Of course, yesterday, a lot of positives for Arsenal, a lot of negatives. Meanwhile, for Chelsea, Kai Havertz, very much the man who grabbed all the headlines on the back page. Frank, obviously, you weren't on yesterday. As good as Arsenal were, Chelsea were rancid, weren't they?
Oh yeah. From start to bottom, you know, that was an horrendous performance. Yeah, Cole Palmer wasn't there. Yeah, Thiago Silva maybe didn't play. It's why maybe you can find some reasons of that horrendous performance. But first, credit to Arsenal. They put all ingredients needed to thrash and to smash Chelsea. It's nice for Kai Havertz, you know. I'm not expecting him to stay quiet and not celebrating his goals. That I don't care. You change the club and you have the right to celebrate, you know. That's what it is. But again, sometimes I saw, you know, when you bring your son on Sunday morning to watch a game and you see all the kids making mistakes, sometimes it was that, really, from Chelsea. I said, what the hell are they doing? How come you do that mistake at that level? But we all know, and we say that so many times for the past 2 years, that we have to wait for them to grow. And that's the bet that the club made. And meanwhile, you know, you keep the shame, you put the head down, and if you are a fan, you have to be very, very patient.
Do you want Pochettino out, Frank?
Positive of what?
Sacked.
At any point? No. Sorry?
Do you want him sacked?
Posh? No, because he has to take responsibility for what we see, but because he knew what he would get when he signed for the club. That for me, when he signed, I already said it was impossible to heal from there. That's my concern about that. Why do you sign if you know that there is nothing much to do? And instead you say to the club, okay, I come, but I want 2 experienced players. And we know that. I know my former coach, friends of Craig, Ruud Gullit, said that was horrible to see them playing against Arsenal, but also Manchester City, because they don't know what to do. But it's just normal. You take kids, you put, and that was the case against Arsenal, 11 of them, not ready, not mature enough, and ready to blow in any case, because they don't know how to handle a pressure, and it's what you have. And the result of the 5-0 is what you were looking for. And you just have to wait to grow. But getting rid of Poch won't resolve the problem, because the next coach will have the same problem.
Stevie, obviously you weren't here yesterday. You watched the game. How do you explain that second half?
Do you know, I was thinking about it yesterday, and I started thinking about... So without Thiago Silva in the team, this team's average age is 23. And I was thinking, what was I like at 23? Well, I wasn't a regular in the Liverpool team. I thought that when I was 23, that I played 35 games. 15 of them, or half of them, were off the bench, and half of them I started. And the reason was because I wasn't ready.
Right.
I wasn't ready. I was learning the game. And I was getting added, and the fact that I was playing wasn't affecting the rest of the team, because we had an experienced outfit, we had a good mix of some superstars, some fantastic players, and a couple of young guys, including myself. Now, by the time I was 25, I was a completely different player. All of those things that I had learned between 83, 84 and 85, 86, I was a different player. I was a finished article. I knew how to turn up every game and be at a certain level. I knew my preparation inside out. I knew every single thing. I'd figured out when to play it, when to pass it, when to run with it, when to drop off. All of these things you're learning all the time. And unfortunately for Chelsea, they've got a team that's learning while they're playing. So, surprise, surprise. 1 minute they're up there, the next minute they're down there. So they've got no chance. And you can't turn around and blame the manager for that, because he didn't bring the players in. So getting rid of Pochettino is going to do nothing.
But a lot of these players have got a lot more experience at that age than I would say maybe you had at that level, at that age. The game's kind of different in that sense, because, you know, back when he was in Liverpool in the 80s and I was at Chelsea in the 90s when Frank was there, if you saw players, and not all the time, if you saw players in another team, you know, if you're a if a pundit was on the TV and there was a 21-year-old playing, you kind of sat back a little bit and went, oh, 20.
And now we've got Lamine Yamal, we've got players like that.
And now it doesn't seem even 21 is young for today's age group of players and how they are brought up and how the training is and the facilities and all the help they get. So I kind of think when they get to 23 now, it's like, you know, that's 23 is like to me what 18 and 19 was, or maybe 20, because there is so many of them now coming. And I understand that is when they're all together, but they've got a lot of experience. Okay, look at it another way. What do they do in the summer? How many are going to get better? How many are going to be good enough? How many do they have to replace? Because if you look at the ones they need to replace, Sterling would need replaced, doesn't play regular. Madueke's probably a squad player. Nico Jackson needs replaced. Obviously, Cole Palmer doesn't. You maybe hang your hat on the £200 million worth of midfielders. Then you're relying on the two centre-halves coming good. You're then relying on Chilwell being fit, because Cucurella's not been brilliant. And you're relying on Reece James getting over all these fitness issues he's got, or it's young Malo Gusto. There are so many questions. And I hear Man United fans going, what's the difference? What's the difference between this pathetic Chelsea side and this pathetic United side? And sometimes it is hard to argue. You could argue the age. One side of it would be it's Pochettino's first season. It is Ten Hag's second. These are small mitigating factors, but there isn't much difference to say why one is getting pressure to get results and one seems to be getting less, apart from it's his first year. I can't offer you up any more excuses than that, really.
Yeah, I'm just going back to coming back to what Craig just said before. The 23 years old now seems to be older than the 23 years old of Stevie, because they start earlier. And what I want to say is this Chelsea team, for 23 years old, they had no experience before. We don't know Mudryk. Badiashile and Dizazi just started with Monaco and signed for Chelsea, so they have no experience whatsoever. Nicolas Jackson had one good season in Villarreal, but he's a 1-year-old, we say, in the top football. So it's like those players who just started, and I'm with Stevie. They will need some years to learn, but if they are with other players, with more mature players, then maybe it's going to work. And the difference between Manchester United and Chelsea is Manchester United, they have experienced players. They have Rashford, they have Fernandes, they have Casemiro, they have so many others. They should build on that. Chelsea, they have nothing to build on.